Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. Good morning, guys. How you doing? Happy Monday. Is your Monday awesome? I hope so. If it's not, you got plenty of time to make it awesome. You have plenty of time. Unless you're listening to this on a day that's not Monday, then, maybe next Monday. Or if you're listening to this and it's already later in your day on Monday and you only have like 3 hours left for your Monday, then, make Monday great again. Either way, make whatever day you're listening to, make today your Monday. So I got a couple things I want to cover you guys today. One thing really blew me away that I found out about something that's going on within the Lakers organization. I'm kind of shocked. I'm surprised. I'm not going to say I'm appalled. I'm actually impressed. I'm impressed. I'm impressed, actually. I'll get to that in a moment. We also got a finals rematch tonight against the Cavs and the Warriors. I'm not sure if you guys saw what the Warriors did to the Raptors the other night, but I believe that the Cavs don't have a chance. After seeing the Warriors go up 30 and then almost lose to the Raptors and just kind of hang around because they felt like it, I don't think the Cavs have a chance. So it's going to be an interesting game. We also got a small trade rumor for you. Actually, it's not really a trade rumor. It's a rumor that we visited before, but we kind of have a little bit more movement on it. I'm going to see if I can sell it to you guys a little bit more. It's also involving the Cavs. I got a day for you in NBA history. We got a lot of stuff going on. We've got the Ball brothers being shut down in their first Lithuanian debut game. I know you may think they've already played a game, but they played a game in a league that was 17 to 18-year-olds. That's the game that they both had about 20 points in. But just recently they played a game in the actual league that they'd be playing in that has the grown men in it. And things didn't quite go the way they were expected to. But we'll get to all that. We're going to get to all that. Be patient with me. We'll get to all that. However, let me get back to how I felt about what's going on in the Lakers organization. Oh, also, before I tell you guys that, I saw an interesting quote a couple days ago. It's by Oscar Wilde, and it says, "If you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh, otherwise they'll kill you." I thought that was a great quote because a lot of times people say things on television and the masses lose their mind. Like, you can't say that on TV. Oh my God, what's happening? This is unbelievable. That's appalling. So disrespectful. Why would someone ever say something like that? We do this thing where we flip out, right? But when comedians say it, or people or entertainers say it, or it's delivered in a humorous way where you can pick up the tone of what someone's saying and the truth, then it's okay. They'll probably repeat it to a friend or whatnot. So just a message for all of you out there. If you want to tell somebody the truth about themselves, or if you have something that's on your mind a little bit and you got to deliver a message, try, if possible, to see if you can add some humor in there. See if you can put a little something in there to make a person giggle a little bit. Maybe your message you get across a little bit better. That's just my message of the day. I saw the quote. I thought it was great. Speaking of telling the truth and making them laugh, I think that LeVar Ball isn't doing a good job of that. At first I thought that, I was like, at first when he was saying wild stuff before, it was like, okay, people are laughing. So even though it's not true, people are laughing. It's like, okay, I can beat Michael Jordan. I don't know. He makes people laugh though. So it's like, whatever. Oh, Big Baller Brand's going to take over the globe. We have this brand. Everything's going to be great. Everyone's going to buy the shoes. I guess. Why can Coach and Gucci charge this much money and I can't? Ha ha ha. That's funny. It's true. Why can't they charge that much and he can't? Can you really explain to me why? You can't. So it's funny and it's truth. But several days ago, actually last week, he said that the players on the Lakers don't want to play for Luke anymore. He said Luke's too young. Luke's lost the team. You can tell they don't want to play for them anymore. Now, this plot thickens, right? Because what ended up happening was I was finding out what I was going to bless your ears with today. And I ran back into this story because an anonymous executive was talking about how there was an article released talking about, not even an article, just the hype is that Lonzo needs to talk to his dad and bring him back down to earth. And this is the consensus, right? But it's interesting because one of the quotes I read was, all the kid has to do is tell reporters, if you want to talk basketball, talk to me. My dad doesn't speak for me. And like, get this, right? The irony is that's like from a source. So that's an anonymous source. So an anonymous source saying all he has to do is do this. Don't hide behind a cloak and then tell me all someone has to do. Like, you won't even come out and say that small statement, but you're going to tell me all someone else has to do and then say it anonymously. I thought that was funny. But my thing is this, similar to like Rick Carlisle's whole venture on the subject, like his opinion on it, like why does Lonzo have to tell you guys not to put the microphones in the guy's face? Like, why does Lonzo have to say, hey, media, don't ask my dad questions? The media is going to ask his dad questions because his dad's more interesting than him. Like, really, like, that's where we're at with this right now. It's not because the Lakers aren't, it has nothing else to do with anything. This isn't because his dad is loud or Lonzo's pick or whatever. His dad's just more interesting. Like, just overall, as a staff record label and the crew, as the whole ball brand goes, he's just more interesting than Lonzo. So we get all that. We get that. So apparently, LeVar said what he said about the team. Now, I had a colleague of mine ask me on Saturday, I was at a dinner, and one of my colleagues said, yo, hey, do you think the Lakers are going to fire Luke Walton? And I was like, no. What are you talking about? Like, I looked at him like he had boogers on his lips. Like, what? That's how I looked at him. Because I didn't see where something so silly would come from. I told him, I'll tell you guys this. The Lakers can't let LeVar Ball dictate what happens in an organization, because then everything falls apart. You can't have a stage parent like on a professional team. That's silly. Like, why would they do that? And I didn't understand what my friend was asking about. I thought maybe he had drank too much. I don't know if maybe he went to the bathroom and, met a guy that maybe had some stuff that was distributed in the bathroom. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where this wild question was coming from. And I do appreciate him reaching out to me as some type of, reliable source of information. So I do appreciate him asking me that opinion. It just sounded crazy to me. Like, you guys are going to fire Luke Walton? He's a 3-time champion. He's been with the team, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. They're not doing great, but they're really bad. They're really bad. They're 2 spots away from worse in the league. So they're not doing very good at all. However, there's an issue going on there. There's an issue going on. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But this morning, last night, I found out that there's rumors that the Lakers are looking to hire Fizzdale. You guys know David Fizzdale? He was coaching the Grizzlies, and they just decided to fire him because Marc Gasol got benched. The irony, right? Like, Luke Walton is in a situation where a player's dad might be coaxing the organization to make a move, and David Fizzdale was fired from an organization where a player basically made a move. Because, a little bit of backstory. David Fizzdale didn't like Marc Gasol's attitude, so he had him sit down for a game. And Marc Gasol was interviewed, and he said, hey, I didn't like it. I've never been benched before. Not something I like. Not something I'm going to get used to. That's what he said. Didn't really do the whole, well, it was coach's decision, it's not my decision type of thing. We just have to regroup. I respect him. I love playing for David Fizzdale. None of that. He didn't say any of that at all. Just, I didn't like it. Not something I'm used to. Don't plan on it to happen again. Several days later, David Fizzdale was fired. And the reason why, and I don't agree with this, but here's the thing, right? They don't have Zebo anymore. They don't have Tony Allen. At the time, I want to say Mike Conley was injured. So Marc Gasol, he's the guy there, like in Memphis, like where they don't have any other football or basketball team. I mean, they have the Tennessee Titans, but I'm not sure how far Tennessee is from Memphis. I don't imagine that it's close. But in the city of Memphis, you have the Grizzlies. Marc Gasol is the face of the Grizzlies, like as of right now. Period. Point blank, period. He's the face of the Grizzlies. So you sit him down, fans don't like that. Even if it's for like disciplinary reasons, even if it's for that, fans don't like it. And he runs things there. And for him to go to the ownership and say, yo, I didn't like to be sat down. Okay? You guys need to do something about this. Okay? And then after that, they fire the coach. So David Fizzdale is a free agent as a coach, and he's being eyed. He's being eyed apparently by the Lakers, and Luke Walton might be on his way out. And I find that shocking though. Like, and my thing is this is what I was going to tell you guys a few seconds ago. I feel like I don't really like saying something that isn't anybody's fault, because that it sounds silly, but I'm going to say it. It's not his fault that they're bad. It's not. I'm going to tell you why. The Lakers are supposed to be signing a free agent this summer. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three. Who knows? And everyone knows this. Like everyone, they're trying to clear cap space. They moved some bad contracts out of there. Like they purposely ended up in a situation where they're bad. Like they got rid of Lou Williams, not this year, but the last year, so they can get some scoring out of there, so they can actually just be bad, so they can get a better pick. They got Luol Deng chilling on the bench because they owe him $1 trillion, but they don't want to play him because if he's injured, like they can't sell him or can't trade him to anybody else. So it's a dynamic where it's a fire sale and everyone knows what's going to go down. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. Then we're going to come back and I'll tell you what's going to go down. Be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network. As promised, I told you I was going to tell you guys what's going down. And the situation is, in case you're a little late getting to this, the situation is this. The Lakers reportedly are looking into hiring David Fizzdale. You know, the coach from the Grizzlies who was fired because Marc Gasol decided that he didn't like sitting on the bench for a game, so he pushed the buttons and got him out of there. I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I'm just saying that during an interview, Marc Gasol said, I didn't like being benched. I don't plan on that happening again. Not something that I enjoyed very much. A couple of days later, David Fizzdale is fired. So there's that. But he's a free agent coach, kind of just hanging around. And apparently the Lakers are looking into him, which surprises me because I didn't think that LeVar Ball's word had that much pull, but it looks like it does have that much pull. I didn't know this. I had no idea. Now, my thing is this. The Lakers, as far as Luke Walton goes, like if anyone says somebody doesn't want to play for Luke or whatever, like I don't really know if that's true, and I don't know if it's fair. And again, I'm not someone that likes saying something's not fair because it makes me sound like I'm a fifth grader. However, my problem is the Lakers are having a fire sale, and their plan is to go ahead and sign the most outstanding illest free agent ever this summer. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three of them. Who knows? But everyone on the team knows this. Like everyone knows that I don't know, what's the word? That their goose is cooked. Is that something that people say? I think people say that. Yeah, so everyone on the team knows that their goose is cooked, right? So, I mean, you want these players to just like ball out? Like, for what? This is kind of like, have you ever worked somewhere where, like, actually, I have a perfect example of this. I was working at a seasonal place not too long ago, and like we had a lot of like seasonal employees, right? And the season ended, and then suddenly in the waiting room, there's a whole bunch of people that are like sitting there for this job fair. And then we see that the company is also having a job fair like during the week somewhere else. So let me get this straight. You got the season's over. You guys are hiring more people. Is that for another season or, okay. I see what's happening here. And that's what's going on in the Los Angeles Lakers organization. They're apparently they're trying to get rid of Nance, Randall, and I want to say Lopez. I believe it's Lopez. But if you got these guys that are on their way out, then why would you expect the team to just ball? They're in last place, and you may trade all of them. So I don't necessarily think it's that they don't want to play for Luke. I think it's that they already know that their season doesn't mean anything at all. It doesn't mean anything. Luol Deng is sitting on the bench chilling. He can't wait to get out of there. He's made multiple requests to not be there, but he doesn't want to take the pay cut because someone else that picks him up is going to have to take on like the $37 million that he signed for. So he's just hanging out on the bench. So I don't necessarily think that it's Luke. I think it's the situation. Here's my issue. I don't know if now this could be one of those things where they bring in a new free agent, right? They bring in a new free agent, and because they're bringing in a new free agent, they want to just bring in a different coach. Like this could be part of the whole regime change. Like they want to get rid of 3 players in a trade deal just to relieve salary cap, and they may want to bring in a new coach. Because I mean that's what happens, right? Like when you bring in if you can get a superstar, you usually want to bring in a new coach. That's kind of how it goes. I believe. Like when the Cavs got LeBron, they got David Blatt. He's supposed to be like the Bill Belichick of like Europe or whatever, but it turns out LeBron didn't seem to give him very much respect, and that didn't pan out the way that people like planned for it to go. So you've got that situation, and I believe that if the Lakers were to get this free agent, whoever they want, let's say it is LeBron, it might make the best sense to go ahead and get David Fizzdale, because David Fizzdale was one of the assistant coaches in Miami when LeBron was there. That could be one thing. Or, I mean, you may just want someone with like a little bit more experience. Not experience. Let me not say that. Because Luke was assistant coach of the Warriors. He's been in the Lakers for a while. I guess you just want someone a little bit more seasoned to handle like a seasoned guy if you guys can get him. I don't know who they're going to get. Paul George never says where he wants to go, never says where he doesn't want to go. They may get Paul George. Who knows? Might get LeBron. Who knows? We don't know. But I'd like to know whether or not this whole Luke Walton thing was originally part of the regime change, or if this is something that's like controlled by LeVar. Because I like I said earlier, like I'm impressed because if LeVar did this, if LeVar is in control of this situation and he actually got whispered, he got people to analyze whether or not what he was saying like held some weight. Oh man. Like if what he said, okay, well, they don't want to play for him. You could see it in their faces and all this. If he said that and someone said, hey, Magic, we've been doing some numbers and it looks like there's a possibility that LeVar could be right. Just because we looked into a little bit, we kind of wanted to see if it held any weight, and turns out LeVar's right. Turns out he's right. And Magic's like, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me see the numbers. Then Magic looks at the numbers. You guys know what? These numbers are right. Now, I don't know what numbers these would be, guys. Like, I don't know what like emotional, I don't know what the emotional numbers would be as far as like team satisfaction and the coach. I don't know what those numbers would be. So this manila folder he hands Magic in the office, I don't know what's in that folder. I'm just perplexed, not perplexed, wrong word. I'm astounded. I find it astonishing that they took LeVar's word and like looked into this, because there has never been any talk about firing Luke. There has never been any talk about this, but now we're talking about it though. Like now, suddenly, and it seems odd. It seems odd, and I feel like I believe that if they do fire him, I think things are going to get ugly. Things are going to get ugly. Things are going to get pretty kind of ugly in the league if they fire him, because there's a lot of coaches that are standing behind Luke Walton since the whole like LeVar Ball comment, because they don't feel like it's fair that the media even puts a mic in his face for him to say those type of things, which there's two different schools of thought on that as far as should like he be allowed to say stuff. But it's like, he's an interesting guy, so they're gonna put a camera in his face and microphones. So what? But I feel like I'm interested in seeing the other coaches' reactions when he's fired, if he does get fired, like, because we don't know if this is a LeVar thing or not. Me personally, I think it might be a regime change, and it might be one of those things where someone says something to you and then you're like, oh, I was gonna do that anyway though. Like, and then you feel like it makes you feel away. Like, say someone, hey man, I'm going to go do this. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do it too. And they're like, man, you're just copying what I was going to do. Like, no, I really had plans to go to the store as well. Man, you just want to go to the store because I'm going to the store. No, I was already thinking about going. It's not because you said anything. Whatever. Right? It's like that. It's like that. I feel like this may happen with people, with their friends in outfits. Like, hey, I'm going to wear my brown shoes. Oh man, I'm going to wear my brown shoes too. Biter. No, I was really going to wear my brown shoes. Whatever, dude. You always want to be like me. No, bro, my brown shoes are out and I was going to wear them. Whatever. No one believes anything that you ever say. You're a liar. So, and I think this could be that situation too. Like Magic's like, man, we were going to fire Luke anyway. And then LeVar said this thing. Now it looks like we're listening to him. I guess we got to keep him. So you mean, and the other people are like, yo, so we're just going to keep him even though we were going to fire him? You don't want to get rid of him because people may think that LeVar told you to do it. Magic's like, yeah, I know. It's not something that I don't want to do that like that. But I mean, I guess I'm going to have to keep him. So we don't know. Nobody knows. But I'm excited to see what's going to happen, because this whole thing with them being 15 and 27, I'm going to say that this can't go on like this for much longer, especially if they don't have like a shot at the playoffs at all, because I was someone that felt like they might be able to sneak into the playoffs. That's kind of where I was at. I won't front. I won't even lie to you guys. I was confession time. I felt like they would make playoffs. I did. And they're only 7 games out. Right? They're 7 games out. But I felt like they'd make playoffs, and it looks like they tricked me. And I'm okay with that. I'm accepting of my bad decision. I'll own that decision. I will own it. This whole thing just has me wondering though. I'm just wondering if they fire Luke, do they fire Luke and trade Lonzo? Because like, can you fire Luke and have it look like LeVar did that, even though you probably wanted to, and then bring in a new coach and have LeVar complain about that current coach? Because it begs the question, how good is Lonzo really? Right? How good is he really? Because sometimes when you're really talented, people are willing to deal with your stuff. That's just how it goes. You guys remember Terrell Owens? No one remembers him. Okay. What about Josh Gordon from the Browns right now? Remember him? Okay, cool. So sometimes you're worth the trouble, and sometimes you're not worth the trouble. You guys remember Johnny Manziel? Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's one of those situations. right now, his numbers are still pretty pedestrian, or I don't want to say ugly because that's rude, but he's 35% from the field, 30% from three, and he's shooting 50% from the free throw line. So as the point guard, I mean, his number. But he's averaging 7.1 assists. I don't really know what his usage rate is as far as how long he has the ball to have 7.1 assists. But if he can distribute the rock, then I feel like that's beneficial, right? I mean, everyone wants someone that can pass the ball. Maybe what's going to happen here, what I think is going to happen is this. Do you guys remember Rajon Rondo? He plays for the Pelicans, gets a lot of assists. Okay, so maybe Lonzo Ball is like Rajon Rondo. That could be it. Rajon Rondo isn't the most incredible shooter. He's also not the most incredible free throw shooter, but he can dime. He can get anybody the ball in any position. Maybe that's what we're looking at right now. And the way I see it, if the Lakers overall, worst case scenario, if they've drafted Rajon Rondo and they plan on bringing in great players, then that's a win. Then you won. Like there's not even anything else to complain about at that point. That's all we have. You know what I mean? So I'm aware that everyone probably wanted him to be Jason Kidd or like wanted him to be Magic Johnson. I know some people wanted him to be LeBron. That just doesn't make sense. But if you had to collectively just draft him, then you're fine. I said several days ago, no, this was a while ago. I said if they drafted Derek Fisher, if he ends up being Derek Fisher, that's fine. But that was a stretch though, because Derek Fisher was a pretty solid defender and he could shoot the ball and he could see the court. He could coach the floor pretty well when Kobe was not coaching the floor. So maybe Derek Fisher's a stretch. But if he drafted Rajon Rondo and you just got to surround him with great players, then hey, so be it. Take that. Take that all day. I would take that. I would. I don't see who wouldn't. So there's that. Now, there's also a little bit more to this. There's not more to this. There's more to the ball situation that is going to talk to you about how this coaching thing going on, like if they're to make this move, it's a possibility that it's going to look really silly if it's influenced by LeVar Ball. It's going to look really silly because based on the track record and what's happening now, it seems like he's not happy with any coaches that coach his kids because he had a reaction to the coach who was coaching his two kids in Lithuania. Are you surprised? No, probably not. When I get back, I'm going to tell you about that. And I'm going to ask you, does that mean that we probably shouldn't be listening to his opinion on coaches? I'm not the one to decide whether or not someone should be coaching his kids. I'm just saying that the request that he is making for people, the request that he's making, like of the coaching, they're not like abstract ideas. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have seen this. You've watched certain people talk about basketball. Okay. There are certain players that get interviewed and you ask them, so can you tell us about the game? Yeah, we just played hard and, we went down and then we came back and just played hard and we just overcame adversity and stay blessed. Then those interviews are fine. Some are like that. And those are the ones, me personally, I'm not really that into. Some of them are people that don't want to answer that many questions. Yeah. Oh, yeah, good shot. Yeah, I saw him. Alley-oop. Yeah. Then there's other players, and they talk about the game. Kobe used to do this. LeBron does this pretty often. A lot of players, they'll give you actual reasons of why they came back and won the game. Like, well, what happened? Oh, well, at half, they were killing us on the offensive rebound, so a lot of second chance points. And they were also beating us on transition. So we had to take advantage of the boards. We had to get more aggressive on rebounding so we could shut down their offensive rebounding and get back on defense to stop their transition. Once we get back in transition defense, they had a harder time scoring in a half court set. That's when we were able to dominate because we play our best game in a half court set. And when the team has to guard us in a half court set, when we use more of the clock, it gets them tired. That's an analysis of how a team came back, right? So within these situations of games, when you hear people talk and you hear people make recommendations, then you want to hear someone say something like that. I'm going to tell you why everything, which is a big hyperbole, but I'm going to tell you why everything that LeVar Ball suggests about the coaching of his kids is wrong. Well, not wrong, but it's why I disagree with it and why probably no one is ever going to listen other than the Lakers. Be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA Podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you on and presented by the GSMC Podcast Network. Don't you guys hate when, say, when you just your technology isn't working right? And I know that we do get spoiled by the amazing things, the astounding things that technology can do. One of my friends, he works for Uber Eats. You guys know what Uber Eats is? You can basically order food and they'll bring you anything you want, anything, almost anything you want. You can get McDonald's, Skittles, you get whatever you want. One of my friends, he works for them, and he was telling me about how he lives in the Bay Area and there's no parking, right? So he told one of his clients, hey, you can come downstairs to get this food, or it's probably going to be late because I have to find a parking spot because I can't leave my car on the street because they'll take my car, right? So I'll get back. This is all going to tie back in to basketball, I promise. But so he tells the lady hey, you can come down and get the food, or I just have to find a parking spot. And if I find a parking spot, it's going to take a while, and I don't want your food to get cold. I'm giving you a heads up that I'm here, but you can help me help you, and we could solve the whole issue. She comes downstairs, she gets the food, and she curses my friend out. Because, you should just park. You just find a place to park and bring it to my door, all this stuff. And, But sometimes in life, our technology and things, don't work correctly. So we have to, help. We have to help people help us, or help technology help you. In this situation, I don't think that LeVar is helping the Lakers help him. Sometimes you got to just take the L or wave the flag, because everything you're saying isn't helping anybody. It's not you saying they got to play Lonzo more. They have to play him the whole game. It's not helping anybody at all. Want to know why? Similar to what Luke said the other day, because Luke benched him against Toronto, and he said that he benched him because his dad was talking mess. The reporters laughed and all said they were just kidding. He said he was just kidding, And usually when he gives these suggestions about what's going on with any of his sons, it's always play more or play together. It's always that. It's never an in-depth comment on what's actually happening. It's usually just play more, play them together. All my boys are to play together. Play them more, play Lonzo more. Taking him in and out is making him cold. Play him more. That suggestion isn't necessarily something that's helpful. And what's happened all through the course of it seems like these kids' long basketball careers is that coaches have been fired and dismissed because he's not happy with the way that his sons are being coached. At Chino Hills, I guess they took the kid out because he didn't like the way he's being coached. But he just takes every shot. What more do you want them to do for him? What do you want? I don't understand. And I guess that's kind of that's kind of why I believe that the coaches are frustrated that the media interviews this guy, because he's not saying anything that's in depth or helpful. It's just, my son needs to play more. The kids don't want to. Those kids don't want to play for that coach. My son's got to play more. I just, that's not. So for someone to interview him and then write that in the paper and then submit, it's kind of like, well, did you have to put that in there? Like, was that profound? Because again, he's not dropping knowledge after the posting before the game. He's not saying any like Kobe or LeBron things after the game, like giving you an actual in-depth reaction of what's really happening, like with what you're watching. Like, you know what? They have Lonzo playing defense. They have Lonzo playing defense too high on the wing, and he's getting beat. He needs to be in this position or that position. Or when they run this offense, they should start all these players. They should start Lonzo and have him play with so and so because his game is better with so and so's game. Have Kuzma do this and Lonzo. There's never anything like that. It's just he needs to play more. Start taking him in and out of the game. He gets cold. He doesn't like being taken in and out of the game like that. He needs to play more. He's got to play more. They got to let him take over. They got to let him take over. What, like, he's in the NBA and he has a basketball in his hand. He's a starter. He can take over whenever he wants. Like, they decided to pick him in a draft. They have these drafts every year, and they decided, hey, we're going to take you second. We're going to take you, and you're going to be on our team. He can take over whenever he wants. So there's not they need to let him take over. So these comments that are happening, they're worthless. This brings us to Lithuania. In Lithuania, Lonzo's two brothers play there. LiAngelo Ball and LaMelo Ball. They both play in Lithuania. You guys didn't know that? Okay, fine. Then their first debut game, they both combined for 24 points. One of them had 13, the other one had 11. But that was a younger league. It was like the 16 to 18 league. 16 to 18, like adult league. It's interesting. Someone made a joke online about how LeVar has them playing in a European rec league. And I was like, hey, that sounds funny. I like the way they said that. It's a funny joke. I would say that, you know. But it was true. Like, it was an actual like European like teen league that they were in, because they were on that baller brand tournament. They have like a 5-game exhibition tournament, like sponsored by Big Baller Brand, which I'm not knocking at all. Like, I don't knock LeVar's ambitions at all. Like, I don't have any like ill will against his ambitions or his goals or his dreams. I have nothing against that. I just believe that there's certain ways to do particular things. But if you've gotten this far by doing what you want to do, hey, so be it. I'm just giving my opinion, because if I have 3 sons and one makes it to the NBA and 2 of them end up playing overseas and we're able to run a tournament with a brand that I've created for them, okay. Okay. Like, I'm not going to be the one that's like, oh, I need all my boys to play on the Lakers. That's not going to be me. Like, we already won. But either way, what ended up happening was they basically played in the grown-up league. They played in like the real Lithuanian like man league that they're supposed to be in, like the Euroleague everyone talks about. People say, oh, you're going to go play European ball, go play overseas. Like the real life league, that league, the one that you go and you shine in and then you ball. That one, like the one. These are all different countries. I don't mean to be ignorant, however, but like I'm talking about like Porzingis. I'm talking about Frank from France, like on the Knicks. All those guys. This is like the real life Euro League where everyone. This is where you get your highlight tapes from. That's what I'm talking about. In that league, they were held scoreless. They both went like a combined 0 for 7. They weren't getting off any shots, like at all. And usually for LaMelo, someone who takes 10,000 shots, he ended up like taking 4. He took 4 shots, and he's usually pulling. He actually came in the game and just pulled a 28-footer like it was nothing, just from a distance, just pulled up, and he missed really badly. And I thought this was interesting because this was the real life league, and this was the debut. So we may have got, I don't want to say we got sold, on their other debut. Actually, we did get kind of sold because they said it was their debut and they told us the points. They didn't tell us the league, right? But then for this one, for this new story that came out, I'm sure the information was available. I'm not blaming anyone. But for this one, they said, yeah, in the other league, they were in the 16 to 18, blah, blah, blah. But in this one, they were held scoreless. LeVar said they need to play his boys together more. For better transition, they got to play them more together. They have to play them together more. So it all ties back to what I was saying earlier. My question is this. How is playing them together more? How is playing them together more gonna make them better on this team? Like, they end up losing this game. The squad, their Lithuanian team, they lost the game 95 to 87. Like, they lost the game. Okay, so, and they both went 0 for 7. Them playing together more, I don't think that's the problem. I don't see that as the issue. It's not the issue. That's not it. Here's the issue. When LaMelo was in high school still, he was rated as like a top prospect, like top 30 in the US, and he was probably going to end up going to UCLA or somewhere outstanding. The other kid, LiAngelo, he probably wasn't going to go anywhere. He probably wasn't going to go anywhere like really nice for school. He ended up going to UCLA on a package deal with his brother, right? Which I didn't know. Now, I was under the impression that he was under like some scholarship because he was awesome, so he had a bunch of opportunities. Now, he went to UCLA on a package deal with his brother. So they didn't really want him there anyway, but they took him because they wanted his brother. Now, I don't know if that's the opportunity that you should pull away from your kid. Again, I don't know. I don't have any kids, but I was under the impression the whole time this was like a scholarship and he can go anywhere because he has a massive amount of talent. He can do whatever he wants to do. I didn't know that he wasn't supposed to be at UCLA. I didn't know that. I heard people say that like he was only there because his brother there. I heard people say that, but I thought they were just joking. I thought they were just keying. You know, people just say things like, ha, this is funny. I thought they were just cracking a joke. No, he's not even supposed to be there. He's not even supposed to be there. So for those of you guys that watch Empire is a show about 3 brothers. One of them is a singer, one is a rapper, and the other one is like the business. He basically is the business guy of the label. He works under the dad and runs the label. The way I see this, really, I mean, if the second kid somehow, some way makes it to the NBA or gets a thriving basketball career, so be it. Congratulations, like you did it, dude. But if we've got 3 of them, and one's in the Lakers, and then one is like a top 30 prospect, and one only made it to UCLA because his brother went to UCLA, yo, like I need you to go and get a degree from UCLA for free in business, communications, kinesiology, mathematics, rocket science, pottery, whatever. You need to milk this education. Like, for real. Because all 3 of you guys aren't going to the league. Sorry, bro. This is just where we're at. This is where we're at, son. This is where we're at. You need to stay here. And if things get better for you at UCLA and you start balling, you have, hey, here's the thing. You got 4 years to get really good here. Maybe you'll go to the league. Maybe you won't go to the league. But until then, hit these books and get this free. Please hit these books and get this $200,000 education. Please. I have a friend who went to UCLA for like philosophy. He graduated in 2005 and he's still in debt. You're telling me you pulled that? I didn't. This is new information for me. Anyway, I don't know if them playing together is going to make them have like better success. I mean, realistically, if they're that good, then I don't really think it's a requirement. But I think LeVar is doing this ultimate hustle thing where it's like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell them they got to play together when in reality, LiAngelo isn't very good. But if he's around his brothers, then he'll be okay. His brothers can make him look really good. But, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, we have enough tape And we watch enough video and everyone watches enough sports to tell when one player is carrying another. Like, we can tell. We can completely tell when one player is carrying another player. Unless that player has outstanding, ridiculous hops. Now, if a player has outstanding, ridiculous hops, you got somebody dropping them dimes, they look wild. They look crazy. Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Steve Nash have made some of the most, I'm not going to say ridiculous people, but they've made some of the most mediocre players look ridiculously outstanding. Now, if that person has an incredible bounce and they got a little bit of post game, Steve Nash, Chris Paul, they'll make you look good. Steve Nash, Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, Rondo, they'll make you look pretty good. LeBron will make you look really good. But I don't see I don't even see LaMelo being the type of player that make someone look really good like that. I don't see it. So, I mean, I wish them luck with that, because I don't even know how that's even gonna. Anyway, they got a 1-year contract. They have more games to play. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I get back, I'm gonna give you guys a finals preview for tonight. I'm gonna give you guys this time in NBA history, which is actually, I feel like it's probably going to blow your mind, because I don't really think that you knew this happened. I didn't know it happened until I looked it up, and it's going to be interesting, and it kind of made me upset. It didn't make me upset, but it made me think, geez, why? All right, be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network. I just got done wrapping up the current European basketball struggles of LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball. They're over in Lithuania. They played in their real league couple days ago, and they were held to 0 points. I know you thought their debut was several days ago, but turns out that debut was actually in like what we're calling a teen league. People from 16 to 18 playing that league, so it's like a rec league for a junior professional league. I don't know. It's like one of the rec leagues that we have. Maybe it's their AAU. Maybe it's like an adult AAU kind of. Not sure, but they ended up playing. They had combined for 24 in that game, but they played a real game with the adults, and they ended up having 0. So they'll figure that out. They're going to work it out, and we're going to have more coverage on that for you. Absolutely. Tonight, we've got a finals rematch. And you're like, which finals? Which finals, Ryan? Do you know which ones? I'm like, yeah, the finals that have happened for the last 3 years in a row. Those finals, guy. Those are the finals I'm talking about. We got your infamous Golden State Warriors against your Cleveland Cavaliers. And this is, again, your new look Cavaliers. It seems like every time they play, like over the past 3 years, the team just looks different. So the first time the Warriors played the Cavs in the finals, that LeBron had to show up by himself with no Love and no Irving. No pun intended. And then the second time, LeBron showed up with Love and Irving. Then the third time, LeBron showed up with Love and Irving, and the Warriors showed up with a Durant. They showed up with the Durantula, the Slim Reaper. And this time they're going to show up, and they won't have Love. But it's going to be interesting to find out what happens before the trade deadline, because the Cavs may do this trade for Tristan Thompson, Chandler Fry, and a pick for DeAndre Jordan, which I think they should do because they're getting bullied down low, like very badly. And DeAndre Jordan's numbers are across the board completely better than Tristan Thompson's numbers. And DeAndre Jordan is a freak. He's a freak, and I feel like I'd love to see LeBron in the situation to be able to set him up for like a lob, or I want to see LeBron play with a dynamic big man. That's what I want to see. I'm looking forward to that. And if that happens, the Warriors might be in a little bit of trouble. The game is going to be tonight at what looks like 7:00. I'm looking forward to this because from what I can see on here, it seems like everyone's healthy. There's no injuries. There aren't any. It looks like everyone is going to play. I mean, and when I say everyone's going to play for the Cavs, I mean LeBron, because I don't feel like there's a reason for me to get detailed as far as who's healthy on the Cavs, because it's all LeBron and that's all that really matters. My thing is this. I want to know if they're going into this game looking at it as like just a warm up, just to see, just like as a filler, because they should be pretty intimidated by the Warriors. Not because they've lost them in the finals, but just because of what the Warriors did to the Raptors on Saturday night. The Warriors went up. The Warriors went up 30 points. They lost the lead and ended up winning by 2 points. Now, when I say what they did to them, I don't mean that people would think, hey, well, they gave up the lead, Ryan. Why would they be intimidated by them? Because Klay Thompson had 24, Kevin Durant had 26, and Curry had 25. They all combined for 75 points, like exactly. And then they were up 30, and they won the game by 2. When the Raptors decided they wanted to come back, DeMar DeRozan had 42 buckets. So they went up 30, just playing around. We're up 30, la 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 la, like it's nothing. Then they lost the lead and still won the game. That's intimidating to me. To get that close to winning, someone's like, no, we rather have the W. We thought we were going to give it to you, but now we don't want you to have it. So I would be intimidated by that. Right now, LeBron is averaging 27.1. Curry is averaging 27.8. I think it's going to be a solid game. I think you guys should watch it. Me personally, I mean, I don't have to tell you what the game of the night is after that, right? Can I just say that's the game of the night? I don't feel like I should have to tell you guys that after my long rant about that. If you can't figure out that's the game of the night, then whatever. Like, I feel like you should know that's the game of the night. As far as the pick of the night goes, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and take the New York Knicks plus 2.5. I believe in the Knicks, and they're playing the Nets, and I don't believe in the Nets. So New York Knicks plus 2.5. This day in NBA history, about, 35 years ago? This was a while ago. So I've always known that Wilt Chamberlain did play for the Warriors, and I've always known the Warriors have historically gotten rid of good players. It happens pretty often. Like they have a massive track record of just trading off good players. They do it a lot, which is why people didn't really want to buy Curry jerseys at first, because like they're just gonna get rid of him like they do everybody else. So let's get rid of the players. So Charles Sprewell, Chris Webber, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway. List goes on. But the Warriors traded during a season when the Warriors had lost 17 straight games. At the time, this was a record. Like, losing 17 games was a big deal. The Warriors lost 17 straight games, January 15th, 1965. And they felt like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to trade Wilt Chamberlain. We're going to trade Wilt Chamberlain to the 76ers in exchange for Connie, Durkin, Lee Shafter, Paul Newman, and cash. No, not someone named cash, but just cash, like the money thing. They traded Wilt Chamberlain to the 76ers for cash and some picks. And it really makes me wonder, because like they drafted him, and I don't know. I'm not sure how many. I don't know how many. What's the word? I don't know how many like 7-footers there were in the league at that time, but it just doesn't seem like a good idea. Doesn't seem like a good idea. So he played for the San Francisco Warriors from 59 to 65. They traded him to the Philadelphia 76ers. He won a championship in 67 with the Sixers. He won a championship in 72 with the Lakers. Do you know when the Warriors won the championship? 1975. So after the Warriors traded Wilt Chamberlain 2 years later, Will Chamberlain won a championship. And 10 years later, the Warriors won their championship. I want to know what was happening to the point where they're like, you know what? We should trade our 7-footer. I want to know who was, because here's the thing. I don't want to be a jerk about this, because a lot of great ideas sound crazy at first. Every great idea someone has is crazy. Unless it's like something on an infomercial. We're like, oh, I should have thought of that. But if it's a great idea, someone's like, that's stupid. That's never going to happen. Why would cars be electric? Why would you be able to talk to somebody by looking at them through your phone? Why would that's silly? Why would you be able to get news on your phone? That's dumb. Every idea, it sounds great. Why would you sell a touchscreen phone without a stylus? Things like that. So I want to know, I have to know the thought process behind this. I want to know, was he hurt? Was he beating people up? Was he not coming to games? I need to know the thought process behind. I just want to know the reason. That's all I want to know. I want to know why you would trade one of the only 7-footers in the league to a team that doesn't have a 7-footer. It'd be interesting to know that. So if anyone, I don't know. I'm gonna do more research on it, because there has to be a reason why. We needed more. Maybe they only had Will Chamberlain. Maybe they had one player and they needed 4 more. Because I don't know. I can't see why you would do that. I don't understand. Even when I look at, he averaged 43 points a game. So you know what? This is upsetting me. Anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on another one of the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'll be talking to you on Wednesday. Enjoy the game tonight. Live long, prosper, watch out for potholes.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.